So I want to share a little bit about me and just give you a little bit of background of where my motivation is coming from, because I think that helps you understand our next hour together of where I'm coming from and my life experience. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the research that we've learned at Pink. We've been very lucky to literally connect with hundreds of thousands of women and listen to them and understand what's made them successful. I don't care if you're a senior level woman in corporate America, running a division, or you've got your own business and you're running it profitably. That's sustainable business. If you're running a profitable business, you are successful. And sometimes that takes time, takes investment and effort. And what we found is that there are some real similarities, and I'm going to talk to you about that. And then finally, I'm going to really give you some detailed information that has been both successful in my life in terms of launching businesses. And this is going to be for you whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in business for 15 years or 20 years or more. You'll find this valuable. Sound good? Okay. Well, let's take that to much bigger deal, or just every day in life. Last night, I was walking around the tables and I introduced myself to a gorgeous, you're all gorgeous, but a gorgeous group of ladies. And I said, "Good evening, ladies." This was on the boat. Okay. Do you think you know where they're sitting? And so I walked up and I said, "Good evening, ladies." And they said, "Good evening." I said, "How's everything going?" And Dorothy looked up. Dorothy looked up. If you didn't get her name, it was Dorothy. Dorothy looked up and said, "You know, everything's fine, but I sure would like some bread." And I said, "Dorothy, I'll see what I can do. I'm scared of you." So Miss Thing was working it in a New York second. She didn't know who I was. And you know what? I loved it because she assumed that maybe I was there to help. And I love that. She didn't assume that I wouldn't want to help. She assumed I was there to help. And there you go. I mean, the lesson in that. And kudos to you, girl. So Dorothy has promised that she will be teaching an assertiveness training course in that corner when this is over. So I'm 9 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I walked into my house, and my mother came out of the kitchen, and I remember her seeing, and you know, even as a child, you know something's not quite right. And she said to me, "He left. He hadn't died." She was talking about my father. And he had left. They had been fighting a good bit that year, and he had decided instead of dealing with it, he'd take all the money out of the accounts and leave the country. That rat. And, you know, moving forward, my mother was an artist. She wasn't well educated, but she was very creative and very talented. And frankly, she stopped college to have a family, pretty common in the 60s. And I watched her really struggle. She was working 10, 12, 13-hour days. She was in visual merchandising in a big retail group, and that's what she knew. She was an artist, so she went to work doing what she knew how to do. And so for those of you who have worked on the floor, on the nursing floor where you're on your feet for hours at a time, I know you feel it. I just want you to know I give great foot massages. I'll take you right after this is over. So anyway, meanwhile, a few thousand massages, foot massages later, you know, you watch a parent as a kid really struggle, but eventually be successful. And she was. In fact, my mother retired recently as a top executive at Federated, running 160 stores for their design department. Thank you. So my husband comes to America. I say, honey, just 1 year, stay in the United States. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. And so he's week 1. First of all, he can't believe that the grocery stores are open 24 hours a day. So just for fun, we went to the grocery at 8 o'clock at night. I said, let's go. He said, you're kidding. I said, no, let's go to the grocery store. And so this is a week he's been in the country. And so we go to the big Kroger, and we're going down the aisles, and he sees he's like a kid. He's picking up everything. It's like, oh my God, it's taking us 3 times more to get through the grocery, 3 times longer than it should. And he picks up this pan, this ugly, awful little frying pan. And I said, what do you want with that? Well, honey, all you have are these really big fancy pans. I just want one little egg pan to make my morning egg. And this was a nasty little pan. And I look at him now, I said, that's really unattractive. Can we get something else, a nicer pan? Let me get you something else. No, I want this pan. Now it's a power struggle. And I didn't catch that at the time. Hindsight's 20/20. I should have let it go. But then I wouldn't have had this great lesson. And I look at the pan, and I'm looking for something wrong with it now because we're in a power struggle. And so there's a ding on it. And I said, oh, honey, there's a ding on this. And there's no more. I'm sorry. Let's go. That means we should get a discount. Now, that's Remco. A discount? Oh, God. I mean, we've already been in the grocery store for an hour, for crying out loud. No, okay, Remco, did you bring your wallet? No. I said, then I'm buying, and I don't want to buy the pan. Low, isn't it? Low. And he said, come on. He said, if I get a discount, you're going to buy the pan. I said, you won't get the discount, so yes, I'll buy the pan. So now I take my cart. Okay, if you meet me in the line, it's Sunday night, but it was still busy. You meet me in the line, you get the discount, and you get the pan to my cart. Before I check out, the pan is yours. So he goes straight to the manager of this mega Kroger. I mean, it's a huge grocery store, and I'm like, oh, he's never going to get it. I'm kind of getting back to the thing. I've got 2 more things I have to get, quick. They're on the way. I'm to the exit. And the last item's going through the checkout, beep, and I'm like, hey, I won, victory. And he comes running with the biggest smile you've ever seen in your life, from ear to ear. And he says it in the cutest Dutch accent. He gave me discount from $5 to $2. It's my pan. God. And then he turns to me. I said, I can't believe you did it. He said, honey, asking is free. Duh. And you know what? He taught me something that day. It was one of the most valuable lessons. Number 1 is I had to be a lot more strategic with him in a power struggle. And number 2, asking really is free. And that I wasn't asking enough. And that I assumed that in that big grocery store, that the very important manager of my local Kroger would not have the time to mark down a dinged pan from $5 to $2. I assumed it. Shame on me.